Hey everyone, welcome back to the Working Dirt channel. I'm Joel, and today we get back to the LJ now that we have all the frame brackets welded on and we get it ready for paint. So stick around to find out if it comes out as good as we hope. All right, so we're getting started to treat the frame. And sorry, excuse the mess of a shop. If I waited every time to have a clean shop, I'd never get a video produced. So we're gonna start going at it more often because we can never have a ready set. Anyways, here's the frame. Like I said, we're done cleaning it and getting off all the rust and welding our brackets on. And we're gonna use Pour 15 to treat it. And we decided to use these smaller 6-pack cans because they dry up quick, I guess, when you have the lid off. And so by only using one small one at a time, we can preserve the actual material. And this was only like 42 bucks on Amazon. And then I'm gonna go away with using this Pour 15 metal prep because I feel like the metal prep is more for having like a smooth metal piece that needs to be etched, or you're just coating a bunch of rust. And in this case, we have more paint on the frame than we do bare metal. And we've primed some of the metal, and we've also abrased or etched the metal because we were getting off rust already. So we're gonna do away with this. This was only like 15 or 18 bucks on Amazon as well. So we're gonna blow the frame off and then use Windex. As you see, Tara's ready to go at it, right? Yep. And we're gonna wipe it down and then just start painting it on. That's the other reason why I chose to go with the Pour 15 as a coating on the frame, because as you guys know, if you powder coat, you're gonna pay a couple hundred to get it sandblasted and then another 200 to 300 to get it powder coated. Whereas the Pour 15, it's easy to apply it yourself, brush, roll, or spray. And
plus it's high gloss.
Yeah, and you can do a semi-gloss or regular gloss, which is nice, but it's a one-step process, which is very nice. We don't have to do a primer spray, this isn't a hot rod. As you guys know, this is a rock crawler. It's gonna get scratched. And I feel like this is a nice medium between using a rattle can and a full-on powder coat. Not to mention with powder coat, if you want to add anything to your frame and weld, then you're gonna be having to fix that powder coat area, which is a pain in the butt. So that's why we're going with the Pour 15. Here we go. So we're just gonna wipe everything down by hand with the Windex, and we're just gonna apply it straight to the rag instead of spraying the frame, because we don't want a puddle of Windex in places where we want to paint. Painting clothes, check. Painting boots, shorts, check. All right. So I'm gonna give this all to you.
Give it all to me. That is black as black cat.
It's going on like slippery snot. And I'm wondering, it never said anything on the can about applying over paint, but I'm only assuming every guy knows when you're working on this stuff. Some areas still have paint because it's fine and it's adhered well, so you don't want to spend all day abrasing or sanding it off. So I don't know how well we could have etched it. Like I said, we just Windexed it, and I'm wondering if the etching not only worked on the metal but the old paint. But we'll see. More coats of anything will make it look good, right? It'll melt down. All right, it's the morning after our first coat. We're gonna put on our second coat now of this Pour 15. Now I've never used this product before, like I said, so I wasn't sure how it's going to react to the different surfaces. And to remind you, the spots where we welded, that was bare metal, and we didn't use the etching primer because we already sanded the metal, so I think it should be good enough. But then I was curious to see how the Por 15 was going to react on the old paint, and it actually, I'm not too happy with it because it kind of looks like it beaded off or didn't coat evenly, but I know with the second coat it will. And what we could have done to prevent that is used a primer over the painted spots, but then I'd be worried about if we primered over the painted spots, we might get primer on the bare metal, and I don't want regular primer on the bare metal. I want the Por 15 on the bare metal. So I think I should have just sanded the other painted spots a little better, and it'll adhere better. So if you look here, you can see some spots, like for example, this is a bare metal spot and it looks kind of streaky. The pigment kind of moves as, I don't know, as you brush it. And then you can see some other spots over here. That's what I'm talking about, where it kind of beads off like oil and water. But I know with the second coat, it should cover it. And again, this is a frame for a rock crawler. It's not a hot rod. That's why we can experiment. After we get the second coat on, we're gonna let it dry, and then we're gonna top coat it with Rust-Oleum satin protective enamel.
Why?
Because we want a uniform finish. All the other parts on the suspension, we're gonna go with satin black. I like it. I don't like things too shiny on an off-road rig. I think that's for hot rods. So we're gonna use satin black on top, and then also Por 15 is not good under ultraviolet light or sunlight, direct sunlight. It'll start to break it down. So we could just leave it as is, but we're not. We're gonna spray it now. It does say, Por 15 says if you're gonna top coat it, which they do recommend, then use their primer or whatever. But again, this is a frame. I'm just gonna spray rattle can right over the Por 15 and use Por 15 as my pour primer. So.
There is a small amount of prep that I do before I go straight into rattle canning, and that is giving the frame or the POR 15 a light abrasion. And that creates a little bit of dust, so of course we got to give it a good Windex wipe one last time, and then go straight into rattle can.
All right, so now that we have the frame painted, we have to move on to transferring all the suspension components to the new frame. But before we do, we need to paint those as well. I think we'll show some clips of that. So stick around. She's gonna start walking here soon. And again, thank you for watching, because your viewership helps our channel support veterans, trails, and charities each quarter. Speaking of, we need to pick a charity for this quarter. All right, we'll see you at the next one. Thank you.